evening and welcome to another episode of QI. No, not really QI. It's All Hail the Ale. It is the final instalment of the Cannonball run, which if you've watched the other two, you will know which one this is. If not, if it's the first one you're watching, and you may be surprised. Probably not really, because you've seen the icon that you've clicked on to get the video. You get my gist. I'm talking rubbish. It is this one. It is the Un-Human Cannonball Triple IPA. And it is the biggest hitting of all three. It weighs in at 11% ABV. And it's also the plainest artwork. You know, you've got simple silver, white and black. And you've got a dialed back, shall we say, profile of hops and malts. Your malts are listed as Golden Promise, Golden Naked Oats and Wheat Malt. And your hops, you've got T90, which is Amarillo and Simcoe. And your cryo hops are Amarillo, CTZ, Centennial and Simcoe as well. Oh, and your yeast, just for shits and giggles, it's the WLP 001 California Ale. So it's a big hitting triple IPA. Not had it before, so it'd be interesting to see what I think of it, seeing as it's the last one in the series, and I've got 3 more of them downstairs, chilling like villains in the fridge. Yeah, there she is. Let's crack her open and see what we've got, shall we? I've no real baseline as to what to go for. The pour is... ooh, it's looking West Coasty. It smells West Coasty, and the pour is... it's indicating a serious amount of body. There we are. That smacks of West Coast. Look at it. It's kind of ambery golden. It looks kind of pine resiny. It looks like literally like a block of amber in a glass with an ivory white head. That is, what, a finger and a half, and pretty damn consistent. That is a seriously good looking glass beer. Yeah, it looks good. Let's have a whiff. Interesting. It smells really sweet. It smells of sort of fresh pineapple. A little bit of citra hop coming through. But the pineapple was the first thing I took from it. Other than that, it's pretty... what's the word I'm looking for? It's inspired by the West Coast style on the aroma for the ones that I've tried in my experience. Let's have a taste. Cheers. Oh yeah. Oh, that lets you know that's 11%. Straight away, you can feel it. You know, you get with the whiskey, you get that little bit of a burn. Obviously there's no burn because it's not whiskey, it's not strong enough, but you get that hint of something that's going to come. You've got that West Coast style. The body isn't as thick as it appeared to be. I mean, it's still got plenty of oomph to it, don't get me wrong, but it's not as obvious as I expected to from the pour. The flavours though, they're interesting. I've got orange as the biggest flavour so far. There's something really nice and bitter in there. I'm going to say it's kind of grapefruity. It sits there on the tongue in that same way that a grapefruit would. And then there's that boozy hit, that kind of that effect that mustard has when the vapours go up the back of your nose. Getting a little bit of that. That's nice. Definitely warm the cockles on a winter's day. Perhaps one to save for Christmas. Who knows? Anyway, the finish, whilst it starts out bitter, it does mellow really, really nicely to a sweet orange and a little bit of caramel on the end, and we've got an alarm on the old dog and bone. Uno momento before I turn off this rather rude interruption. So yes, we've got a little bit of caramel on the back end, on that kind of bitter, sweet, smooth finish. It's an interesting finish. And it is a big hitter. it lets you know every sip that is 11% of the content is alcohol. I like. Definitely one to sit and savour on a cold winter's day. So, Mr. Un-Human Cannonball, what do I think of you? Would I buy you again? Would I buy you again? I would. I would buy it again. It's a good thing, really, because I've got 3 more of them downstairs. Would I rush out and buy it again? On the days where I want something that's going to smash me in the face, I would buy it again for that reason. Because it's big and hoppy. You've got some nice sort of fruity flavours going on when you can get through the initial boozy hit. So you get that lovely orange on the tongue. Pineapple to the nose, though. Interesting that doesn't translate into the flavour, but hey, I like it. There is that resinous note as well that comes through. It's typical of a West Coast style, and there's clearly some inspiration going on here because that's exactly what is obvious to me. It looks it smells it, and it tastes it. You know, they were saying if it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it must be a duck. Well, this, ladies and gents, is a duck. Not really. There's no bill. You know, no bill, no feathers. So, you know, peaking. But yeah, I would rush out and buy this again. Does it tick all my boxes? It's... Oh, that's a good question. It's bitter. It is hoppy. It is flavoursome, and it's a big boozy number that lets you know it. And that's one thing I appreciate. I find that when you get a big boozy number and it hides it well, you don't get the appreciation for what you're drinking. But when you've got something that lets you know exactly what's going on, I like that. I do. Because it then makes it pleasurable to drink. You can sit and enjoy it slowly, and it's not a dangerous sort of neck it in one kind of thing when it's high ABV. A bit like the old Neo-Human Cannonball last night. That was 9.2% and it was really, really easy to drink, dangerously so. This is the opposite. It's easy to drink, don't get me wrong, but it lets you know every step of the way that it's going to knock you on your backside if you're not careful. So, I would change very little. Very little. I would add a little bit more something chewy to it. Not a huge amount. I'd just perhaps amplify the body a little bit, you know, just to give it that that real chewy kind of mouth coating experience. But that's it. It's tiny. It's not the flavour. It wouldn't change the flavour to me. That needs to stay as it is. So I'm waffling, so I'm going to give you a score. I'm going to give the Un-Human Cannonball 4 3/4 out of 5, which, bloody tasty. Which means, out of the 3, all 3 have got the top 2 possible scores, and this one, I like it. I'm going to save one for Christmas Day, because it's got something a little bit special about it. So there we are, ladies and gents, boys and girls, thank you for watching the Un-Human Cannonball video on All Hail the Ale. If you've liked what you've seen, there's a little sort of thumbs up button down there somewhere, and also down that way somewhere. I think it's down that way, I may be going that way. Who knows? Somewhere down the bottom is a little subscription button. Very much appreciate every single one of your subscriptions and your likes and your comments as well. I'd love to know what you think of the Un-Human Cannonball if you've tried it, or any questions that you may have about it that I may be able to answer. So thank you for watching. This has been The Beer. I have been Nick, and I will see you again soon for another video. Bye.